I'll never forget Tony's reaction after the special appeal was over. He said, "Wow, well, she's worth every penny, isn't she?" I said, "She sure is."
Hello, Tara.
Hi there.
I'm so excited to talk to you today. I want to talk a little bit about your increase in revenue. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So our last in-person event was in 2019. It was the first time that they had had a full-time fundraiser on board. And previously we made about 20 to 40,000. We made 130,000 that year with a net of 100. So a great increase. And then COVID came in 2020. We did an all virtual event. And we brought in a lot less than we had hoped. We brought in a gross of about 81,000 that
Oh, wow.
year and a net of only $64,000. And so last year, working with you, we brought in a gross of 210 and a net of 158,000. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so
that is exciting.
yeah. So double what we made last year. And more than 60,000 more than we made in our previous most successful year. So it was incredible.
Congratulations. You worked hard for that.
In 2019, when I came on board, we had been working with Rose City Philanthropy
Mhm.
on a consulting basis, and they had talked about you and how wonderful you were. Laura is now a mentor of mine. Shout out to Laura Miller.
Love
Um,
her.
yes. And she was like, you have to work with Kelly and you have to work with Artisan Auction. And, I was like, all for it. But at that time, we were not used to, as an organization, spending the amount of money that you need to put into something to get the best product out of it. And I knew that you get what you pay for, but we just weren't there yet as an organization. So we went with a different person, a different organization, and we had pretty good results there in
Yep.
2019, all things considered. And then 2020 rolled around, and I was like, yeah, let's talk to Kelly again, because I really wanted to work with you. And still, as an organization, just a little hesitant there.
Mhm.
So we went with a different agency, and I wasn't pleased. And the results, I mean, show that it wasn't a great success. And so finally, this last year, I just had to put my foot down a little. We've grown as an organization, we have the budget now. Like, we have shown that when you put money into something, you get more out of it.
Mhm.
Let's do that. Let's do that with Kelly this year. And it was, approved. And I'll never forget Tony's reaction after the special appeal was over. He said, "Wow, well, she's worth every penny, isn't she?" I said, "She sure is." I was nervous to do the hybrid format, because 2020 was all virtual and it did not go well. So you'll remember I had a little bit of nerves there in thinking, would this work? Would it be beneficial from a revenue standpoint? And would it work? Would all of the technical issues work? Would people be able to see things in real life, in real time? And it did work. And then the overwhelming feedback that I got from people was, wow, I really enjoyed being able to tune in from home. I really enjoyed being in another state and being able to watch. And it was seamless. I mean, I had people that reached out and said, I felt like I was watching one of those really fancy benefits like on TV. Like, that was the quality. And they were just like, I can't believe you guys pulled this off. Working with you guys, it was like, let's do this together. And I really felt like we were a team. And I hadn't felt like that working with others previously. It was like, here's the framework, you go ahead and figure it out. And
Oh,
with
goodness.
you, it was like, here's the framework, we're going to implement it together.
For the folks that are watching this out there, can you tell me a little bit more about 4D's mission?
Yeah, so 4D is a nonprofit organization that helps young adults find and sustain recovery from drugs and alcohol. We're basically the exact opposite of like a formal treatment center because everyone who works for 4D, myself included, is a person in long-term recovery from drugs and alcohol. So the whole idea is that one person who's been through it is best equipped to walk another person through their journey. We love gratitude night. It is our big event for the year, and we get dressed up and we feel, schwanky, and it's so nice. And people are excited to be a part of it. And it just goes to show, these people were once folks that, were forgotten by mass
Yep.
society, and labeled as outcasts and drug addicts and, bad people. And it just goes to show that that's not true,
It's
and
not.
then even those who are still suffering, they're still in there and they're just waiting for their opportunity to be bright, shiny stars. And so I'm just blessed to be able to have be on this team, because every single person is so committed to the mission. They know it works because it's working in their lives. And then we get to bring that to other people. And it's the biggest blessing, it's the biggest blessing I have.